Okay, I've got a new computer which you might, I think the resolution might be a little lower now. And, but anyway, it used to take absolutely ages, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour to upload. All I did was go to the bathroom, have a cup of tea, and it's uploaded. I'm back again. It's really quick. I can't believe it. So anyway, I just trying to contemplate this position here. I mean, I do want to. This is what I'm trying to achieve from these games, is this sort of endless quest to think deeper, not so much moves ahead, but into what's happening, to read more and more into it until it becomes so substantial that it has weight and value in its own right. And I think I'm achieving that. It just looks like a bunch of counters, but this is, you know, to start off with, there's almost a complete line of zone of control along there. So although it might look a little bit of a mess, it's actually quite a clean line without being a complete and absolute line. So in this position, and as I was going to the bathroom, I was thinking, you know, there's so much more to modern conflict. And I was thinking about the concept of reasoning, which I read someone doing some artificial intelligence said, yeah, but your AI can't reason. And they said basically that it could. If it decided what the opponent could do 9 times out of 10, then it was reasoning. But that's not what reasoning is. Reasoning is doing things like the Tet Offensive and, you know, lulling people into a sense of security so that they advance, falling back on your supply lines. You know, I mean, for example, if I was to just fall back here, you know, these units were to come forward and then I was to pounce forward again, etc., etc. Things that are sort of not normal and not natural, not so much unpredictable, because you can predict anything. But reasoning, I think, is something that's lacking in a lot of modern games. But anyway, so we've got this position here. Now, the reason I've sort of done this sort of movement is because I'm trying to think ahead on how to get rid of these units properly, because they're just going to retreat. They're irregulars. And what I want to do is surround them. So I'm spending quite a lot of effort to put myself in that position. Now, just to sort of consider the state of play, I mean, the problem I have to some extent, I keep saying this, is I'm narrating as well, as opposed to playing at the same time. You know, if I was playing this, I'd probably be stone cold silent and just thinking. And I'm trying to talk as well at the same time, because I think now the situation looks quite dire for the Boko Haram on this front, because it looks like they're going to get surrounded. Now, a lot of it comes down to the results from here. So let's just do that. Unfortunately, I've not got any artillery, but I mean, he's worth 4, and I've got 18, so that's going to be a 4 to 1, plus around a 10%, 1.8, so it could be a 5 to 1, probably a 4 to 1. Well, it could have been better, but a DE would have been really nice. I mean, it was possible for a DE, so I failed to do what I wanted with that unit. Now he's fallen back into probably a good position for him, because now that keeps him a relatively good front line, but he's still got these units here. Now he could possibly move there through there, so he's got a distinct possibility to get these units out of there. See, if I'd won that, I could have moved into there and possibly into there. He would have been freed up. I could have moved into there. You know, that would have been really good if I'd won. But now it looks like these units might get away. However, this is an irregular unit. I can still try and pin these down. So what we've got in there, 2 irregulars and some artillery, and some irregulars. Decisions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attack into there. knobs. It took me ages to get this microphone sorted out. It doesn't just, you don't plug these things in, you've got to sit there for hours in despair and frustration trying to figure out why you can't just plug the microphone into the socket and just have it work. What happened there? Defender eliminated. Now that was probably perfect. I had 4 to 1 odds. See, that's what I should have done on that other one, that other 4 to 1. If I got defender eliminated on that, that would have been brilliant. But now he's sort of gone there. Now, see, that's the thing. You see, he's now. I should have movement now. So what I am going to do is move these. Where are you move? Presumably it's 1.3 or 1.4 to move into there. 1.5 it looks like. See, he's just moved there, no depressions, making a complete mess of my fantastic strategy. You know, he could almost move around and attack these artillery pieces. You know, he's more of a pain, but that's why you need to sort of get that surround. And to some extent, that's why I'm not going to attack. Okay, have I moved over here? Yes, that seems so long ago. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because I've moved all my units. I don't want to attack. The reason I'm not attacking is because if I attack, I'll probably get a retreat. And he'll probably move to there or there, which will allow him to just run away. Whereas this way, he can only move 1 hex. He will be in a zone of control, which will give me another crack at surrounding him. It would have been so nice if I'd got that. But that's how it works. This is how one game is very different to another. Okay. Boko Haram turn. Well, what to do? To be quite honest, it's still one of these games where I'd probably be better off just turning the computer off and doing some thinking, but I don't actually want to take that long over it. It's supposed to be just a tea break, really. Now, obviously, things are difficult over here. Let's have a look at the map. There is a road there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I was going to do it so that if you're in a zone of control and you move out, that's the end of your turn, making it a little harder to disengage, because obviously he's just gone from there all the way over to the other side of the map there. But there's my line of irregulars slowly taking shape. Okay. I managed to save this mechanised unit. Oh, it's 11 minutes already and I haven't even started thinking. So the question is, what do I want to do over here? There's an obvious target there. I've got some artillery. Which I'm going to use against their artillery. Counter battery fire. 0.8. Okay, so that's not too bad. Depresses him a little. It's a very weak flank there. In fact, it's too weak. These units could come straight through, creating that opportunity for the surround that they're so desperate for. So, definitely need to commit this unit. So that at least keeps a zone of control across there. It's a desperate fight here. This poor little company is probably going to get trashed. 6-1 and a dice roll of 12. It's probably because they were just lifting their guns above their heads and firing like they do. They just missed. So he was forced to retreat. There he is there. Depression's 2. But he can't move, can he? Do I move an irregular unit there? It'll make it a lot harder to get that surround. In actual fact, these units look like they're surrounded now. There's quite clearly a line of supply across there. It's almost like the Aleppo front line, convoluted. Although Aleppo is still as it was, but it's a sort of yin and yang type thing. Came up to another 15 minutes, so it's an interesting position. I have considered sort of doing these and then just printing them out and then creating a little sort of after action reports as people do, but so much hassle. But it is interesting to see. Think, well, what's just happened? You know, it's not just a bunch of counters on the map. There's a clear existence that you just can't describe. It's like there's a book called Selling the Invisible. It's like, you know, I'm really into the invisible and selling the invisible. It's something that is tangible but doesn't exist, and that's what we're looking at there. Okay, I just want to say I'm incredibly excited about this. It's all sort of meshing together. It's the substance of what it's all about. Anyway, it's all turn. And you've got to remember we're only at turn 2, and I might just sort of fast forward a few turns. Not that I can, but because there are lots of reinforcements. This is only the start. The first 4 turns are sort of the preamble to the game. I do think I was thinking possibly some Cameron units just to sort of make it look like this border is protected. But he's all moved up. I can't believe there's no more artillery. the insurgents are used, what am I actually going to do? Start moving the insurgents. Move this side. Some more irregulars there. He's moved. Now that is a surround. I'll leave this at least manned. Went from there to there, could have just moved there. Yeah, okay. Brain box. I definitely need to keep a little more power over here. Oh, he's moved anyway. Okay, I think that's it. Oh! Right, I'm going to fast forward because I didn't do that attack. I have to do that attack. End turn, yeah. Okay, do this attack. Well, perhaps it would have been better to have waited. 3 to 1. That was a bad die roll. And to demonstrate the fact that I messed up a bit, I'm not going to advance. So it's back to the Multinational Joint Task Force turn. But that it was. See, again, I just want to pause on these little things. I mean, this was, a major offensive by the Boko Haram against the Chadian units in Gamboro. They've been toing and froing, but they've actually taken that. They captured Gamboro. Look, it's green. They captured it, but they've ousted them again. So they've been toing and froing. The only thing that is ahistorical about this is that instead of toing and froing over this, they're not toing and froing over protocol. So there's a lot of heavy action over here with these units really sort of taking a pounding, but they've recovered. They took a pounding before and retreated and recovered. But that was, if they'd waited one more turn, they could have got that full surround. So perhaps they should have waited. But, that's not... I don't like to do it so much by the rules. I mean, they had the advantage. It was really more about the odds. So there's this real sort of front line over here, this microcosm of a front line, whereas this huge amount of maneuverability on these, and this other really complicated front over here. I mean, this is going to take some thinking about to some extent. Now, oh look, this is good. That fast forward was a real help because I don't want to sort of drag this on, but it gets interesting. Here we have now some more multinational joint task force units, the Cameron motorized and mechanized units. So there's some Cameron units, Cameroon, and here we have some Niger units. So let's just see how far these Niger units can go. Because now, I mean, we didn't know where they were going to come from, so we've got this sort of general sort of, at least presence along this borderline. But now all of a sudden it's sort of, perhaps we need a bit more than that, because this is the key area. I mean, this is where they will be getting their reinforcements as well. This is a sort of key area here. I must admit, this is just pretty exciting, because now we've got, we had one front, two fronts, now we've got 3 and 4, and to some extent this is why I do the little games, because this could be a little game. This little section here could be, the differ scenario, and we just have these units here and see how it works out, and integrating them all into one like this, into this big complex game, just makes it more complex and time consuming. But I think we'll get the best of both worlds. But now they do get some more units, and it's not exactly as though I've gone through and game balanced everything perfectly, but although they're quite big, strong units, battalions, there's not a lot of them. Now, where do I want to go? That's the thing. So this way I've got to start doing that thing called thinking again. It's sort of like, it'd be fair enough to just sort of come down here and plumbing into something. But what do I want to achieve? Well, I think the first thing to bear in mind is that there are objectives. That is an objective, Damasak. Okay, well, we've moved down there, so we know we can get that far. We've got a fairly open border here. So we know we can move here, we know we can do something here. This is the only thing where we've got sort of lots of questions and unknowns with this sort of this flanking strike force. Now again, coming back to that the initial dilemma, I really want to be able to surround these units. So is it now possible that I can move him into there? Can't quite get the surround. Unless there is a way to do it. Not a lot of units in there. I can move one of these mechanized units. If I could somehow get that position there. If I can move him out of there at least. So I'm doing the thinking aloud because that's what it's all about. It's not just about getting through this turn and giving it an after turn report. It's the sort of I think with these irregular units, you've got to surround them. And I know it's just number crunching, but it's what I like. So we take that space, that space and that space. It's a bit of a... See, I don't want to leave myself too exposed over here, but I could leave them there, or move them into Bajoga. So I could take that, that and that, move that to there, and that to there, so it'll give me all of those. Move that there, give me that. So there's only these two. I can easily take that. I've got to move there, move a force into there, oust that, and then move into there. And that's the surround. So it all comes down to taking that unit. But I've got to move in this at first. So I'm going to assume that that's my plan of action. So how can I help that happen? Now I could basically commit almost all of this back down here to do that. Okay, I've only got 3 minutes, so I'm going to just try and do it quickly. So I'm not doing the extended thinking I'd like to, but I've got to move that first. That's critical. The only problem I got is that he'll probably retreat to there. I could do it this way. Look at that. Okay. Okay. 2 minutes. This is definitely a gameplay thing, just sort of moving the counters around, but it was the strategic thinking that got me there that justifies me sort of doing this. So that's 12 to 2, 6 to 1. I'm actually going to commit him into that as well. Okay, let's do it. No, I'm not, because we've got artillery. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Oh, the agonizing decisions. Defender eliminated. Okay. And he retreated in the direction that sort of was advantageous. So he's definitely taken some depressions through the artillery. And then that means now that bingo. Okay. Well, there's only a few seconds left, so I'm going to actually leave this to the next video, which will have to be the last, because otherwise they'll be over 2 hours long and YouTube doesn't like that. And I've got my air power to play first, so stay tuned. Okay, well, essentially, yeah, I'm just looking at the microphone thing. Essentially, all the fun stuff has been done, the manoeuvring, but it's definitely not over. I mean, it's only just beginning. We're still getting these other units coming in on these new fronts. But this has been done, so that was actually, you know, it's quite difficult to sort of really, I don't know, focus ahead to try and get that sort of surround. And the question now is how to do the attacks. Well, it's probably not really a big question, but I don't want to commit my artillery against such a small unit. Now you can retreat to there, you see, so 6, 12, 6 to 1. So that would be depression 1. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 5 to 1. Surround of plus 20, so that's 12. That's 12. That'd be 12, so that'd be 6 to 1 minus that little fraction there would be a 5 to 1. Probably get the retreat, that's all I'm after, so I'm going to go for it. If I fail, I'm going to be kicking myself. Okay, defender eliminated, but he retreated into there. Now I think that sort of activity is sort of, I'm not saying that's how it happens, but I mean, if you look at the dialogue of what's happening in Iraq and Syria, you find that you're up against the target and you get there and all that's there is a token effort, you know, a few people to sort of, you know, make the difference between an uncontested and a contested objective, but they just route off. So you've got to play it like that, in a small amount of pressure will force them back, but he's now gone back. I didn't commit this one because I want to use him now, so he's still got his full movement. He's got movement. So I can push him in there. But now he's going to be 4. However, let's actually put in some air power. Okay, 2 to 1, DR, that's good. So that pushes them up to 3. 3. And let's do that again. DR, so that's now 6 and 6, so that's good. I'll leave him up there at least to sort of play with his flank. Although we've got some units down here now that can start helping. So I might actually commit these units along here. So keep that flank going that way. Might be better to do this one first, to force them in that direction. They're useless. Because I don't want to use this or this. There's only these ones here. Can I do it with artillery? So he's worth 3. So I'd get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's about 5 to 1. Or 14 plus 20%. Well, it's more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's plus 10, 20, 30, 40%. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Plus 40%, 14, 5.6, 20, no, 19.6. I think, to be quite honest, I'm not going to do any more maths in my head. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to commit these other units for the attack. Perfect, and they've all gone back to that hex. Okay, and so we can, oh look at that, I'm going to enjoy watching this video again because I quite often watch them as I'm sleeping. I can't hear the words, but you can sort of watch the, you can see the flow of counters and you can see them sort of changing shape, and this is definitely coming to the money shot. Do I need all of that? I mean, really, I could almost leave him there, couldn't I? And the artillery. Got to remember there's quite a lot of this. Depression 2, Depression 6, Depression 6, Depression 0. I'm not thinking about the odds. It's got to be a 7 to 1, isn't it? I'm guessing. Yes. My artillery did 2.6 against his artillery, which is first stacked, which is good. I mean, it's pointless to really think about damage. The second one hit on his irregulars, causing 0.75, and then it missed. It says 0. It should actually say. If it says 0, it should say no effect, no effect, no effect. There is a thing in there that says if it says that, but anyway, it's clearly not doing that. So 7 to 1 odds. So all I needed was 4.4 points. I can't take 4.4 points times 7. 8.8. 16. Yeah, but all I needed was about half of that, but I just wanted to put everyone in there. But anyway, he had to retreat. Well, he was a defender eliminated, so this unit would have been eliminated. These ones would have tried to retreat, but there was nowhere to retreat, and so they are eliminated. So we have now got, see, it's the situation getting rid of these irregulars. So this one's next on the target. Yeah, so now the front line is looking a lot more secure. Okay. It's probably worth doing that attack. I'd really like to spend a bit more time thinking about how I want to deploy what's left to good effect. Because getting a surround on him would probably be better. So I probably shouldn't have moved there, I should have moved there. That would at least give me that hex. Could have moved there. Well, let's just push him back because he is normal, so he's not going to not suffer. 4-1 DR, so he's now at 2 depressions, which is interesting, because now I can attack him with these units which can't actually move, but they've still got just enough to commit themselves to an attack. So this is going to be a defender eliminated. So this is the difference between the irregulars and those units. I've got rid of that. They're a lot easier to take out. I mean, whether there's a rationale behind that. I think basically the irregulars, the whole point of them being irregular and behaving the way they do is to reflect the fact that it's asymmetric and they're actually quite difficult to get rid of. You've got the entire Iraqi army and the Syrian army going into towns and finding it very difficult to take out just a small handful of people. And that's what this reflects. If they're actually behaving as a conventional force, they would be a lot easier to take out, as that demonstrated to some extent analogically, as an analogy, that is. So okay. I don't want to just do those sort of attacks, as I'm trying to play it, as I keep saying, sort of more thinkingly. And I mean, for example, as I took my break earlier, I was thinking about the concept of reason, and at the moment the Iraqi forces, or whatever they're called, the Iraqi security forces, and the other ones, the Peshmergas, is something else. Anyway, they're pausing, and if you read the little articles, they say they're pausing for 3 or 4 weeks to regroup, get their ammunition back, to cycle their troops around, etc., etc. And I think that's sort of something in games you sort of don't do, because you don't have the time. You sort of, why should I sort of pause? But I think that's what I'd want to do here. And I'm not going to, but it's coming to another 15-minute thing. But the thing to do is to sort of think about, what have I got here? What can I actually still move? For example, I can still move him. So but at the same time, one of the things about large forces is that they're actually quite difficult to move dynamically very quickly. And so in this instance, I think it would be the correct proper thing to simulate the Nigerian offensive with a reorganisation after that sort of major event, and to almost replicate that, and that could represent essentially, and what I've taken is one town. I've had a couple of little skirmishes around Gamboru, and I've taken this town here, and that's it, and that's probably 3 or 4 months of activity. Anyway, it's video time, so I'll see you later.